Sometimes reality is stranger and far more painful than any story we could imagine. Today's story is based on a real post shared on Reddit. For privacy and respect, some names and personal details have been changed. It all started on what was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life, my wedding day. The room was still filled with the faint scent of fresh roses, the clinking of champagne glasses, and the scattered laughter of friends and family lingering from the reception. I was exhausted, overwhelmed, but deeply happy. Then came the knock on our hotel suite door. Standing there was my mother-in-law, with a wide, unnerving smile plastered across her face, holding a manila envelope in her hand. My husband looked confused, but I immediately felt a pit form in my stomach. "Congratulations again, sweetie," she said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. "I just have one more little thing for you to sign. Nothing big, just a small formality, really." My husband and I exchanged a quick glance, but before either of us could ask, she laid the envelope on the table and opened it. Inside were two neatly printed documents. A contract, demanding that I commit to having a child within the first year of our marriage. I thought I had misunderstood. Surely this was a joke? Some bizarre family prank? But her expression never wavered. Neither did my father-in-law's, who had quietly stepped into the room behind her, arms crossed, his face stone cold. As I stood there, my heart pounding in my ears, she sweetly added, "It's for your own good, dear. We need to make sure the family legacy continues." I realized in that crushing moment that my life was about to become far more complicated than I ever imagined, and this was just the beginning.
I stared at the papers in disbelief, my fingers trembling slightly as I lifted the contract from the table. Clause after clause spelled out exactly what was expected of me. I was to conceive within 12 months. Submit to regular wellness checks, approved by my mother-in-law's hand-picked doctor. Agree that, in the event of fertility issues, we would immediately pursue invasive treatments, all at their discretion. My husband, David, finally broke the stunned silence. "Mom, what the hell is this?" His voice cracked between anger and embarrassment. My mother-in-law's smile tightened. "It's perfectly reasonable," she insisted, brushing imaginary dust off her skirt. "We have a family reputation to uphold. We can't have people gossiping that you're barren." The word hit me like a slap across the face. David pushed the papers away. "This is insane. We're not signing anything." But she wasn't backing down. "You knew this was expected," she snapped, turning toward him with a look that chilled me to my core. "Your father and I discussed this with you. You agreed, and now your wife needs to do her part." David's face went pale. A part of me shattered at that moment, realizing that there were layers to this situation I hadn't been told. He stammered, trying to backpedal, trying to explain. "I thought they were just being dramatic. I didn't think they were serious." But they were serious, deadly serious. I turned to my mother-in-law, forcing my voice to stay steady. "And what happens if I don't sign?" She smiled again, this time like a wolf smelling blood. "Then we will take steps to protect our son's future, even if that means annulling this marriage." My knees buckled slightly, but I stood firm. David reached for my hand, but I pulled away. The betrayal was already carving its way deep into my heart. In that room, under the bright and sterile hotel lights, my wedding dreams crumbled. I realized that I wasn't seen as a person. I was seen as a vessel, an obligation. And what devastated me more than anything was realizing that the man I loved, the man I had trusted with my heart, had known this was lurking in the shadows and chose not to warn me. The silence stretched between us, heavy and choking. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply looked my mother-in-law dead in the eyes and said, I am not your property. I am not your insurance policy. And if you think a piece of paper will control me, you have no idea who you're dealing with. I left the contract on the table, unopened, unsigned, and walked straight out of the room. But this was just the first battle. The war was only beginning. The hotel hallway felt colder than the ballroom. I pressed my back against the wall, trying to catch my breath. The weight of betrayal sat heavy on my chest like a stone. Behind the double doors, I could still hear muffled arguing, David's voice rising, my mother-in-law's shrill retorts slicing the air. For a brief moment, I thought he might come after me. Apologize. Fix this. The doors stayed shut. I wiped at my cheeks, surprised to find they were dry. No tears. Not yet. A few minutes later, David finally emerged, looking like a man who had just lost everything and didn't even know how it happened. "Babe, wait!" he called out, jogging toward me. "Let's just talk about this, please." I stood up straight, arms crossed, my heart hammering. "Talk about what, David? About how you sold me out before I even said I do?" He flinched. "I didn't think it would matter," he muttered. I laughed, a cold, broken sound. "Didn't matter? You thought signing away my body didn't matter?" He had no answer. Just guilt, heavy and suffocating, written all over his face. "My mom she means well," he tried. I shook my head, the final pieces of my illusion crumbling. "No, David, she means control. She means power. And you handed it to her." He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. "You should go back inside. Celebrate with your family. Because I'm not part of it anymore." I turned on my heel, my wedding dress dragging along the carpet like a tattered flag of surrender. Except I wasn't surrendering. I was reclaiming myself. As I walked toward the elevator, guests stared. Some whispered. Some took out their phones, probably already texting each other. The bride just ran out. Drama at the wedding. Family scandal. Let them talk. Let them stare. This wasn't shame. This was survival. I punched the elevator button, feeling each second stretch endlessly. David's voice called out again, desperate, pained. "Don't do this. Don't throw us away over her." I turned slowly, feeling a strange, hollow calm settle over me. "You threw us away the moment you let your mother treat me like livestock." The elevator dinged open behind me. Without another word, I stepped inside. As the door slid shut between us, the last thing I saw was David standing there, reaching out helplessly, and realizing too late that he had lost me, maybe forever. The elevator descended floor after floor, but it felt like I was falling through memories instead. Every promise David had ever made, every whispered, "I'll always protect you," shattered into sharp fragments in my mind. When the elevator doors opened at the lobby, the cool night air rushed to greet me. I stumbled outside into the parking lot, hugging myself against the chill. No car, no ride, just me, my wedding dress, and a life unraveling at the seams. I slipped off my heels and started walking barefoot across the concrete, not even caring where I was going. The veil tugged behind me like a ghost, the train of the dress stained and torn. Somewhere in the distance, music from the reception floated through the night. Laughter, clinking glasses, celebration. For what? A marriage built on manipulation? A future scripted by someone else's hand? I kept walking. A black sedan pulled up beside me, and for a moment, my heart jumped. David? But it wasn't him. It was my best friend, Emma, her face pale with shock and fury. "Get in," she said, flinging the door open. I hesitated only a second before climbing inside. As the door slammed shut, the tears finally came. Hot, bitter, unstoppable. Emma handed me a crumpled napkin. No words, just quiet understanding. She started driving without asking where I wanted to go, because we both knew. Anywhere but here. After a few miles, she spoke softly. "You did the right thing, you know." I stared out the window at the blur of streetlights and empty roads. Feels more like I blew up my whole life. "Maybe it needed to be blown up," she said. "Maybe some things are too rotten to save." The truth of it hit me so hard, I flinched. I had spent so long trying to be the good girl, the perfect wife, the one who kept the peace at any cost. And what did it cost? Me, everything I was, everything I dreamed of being. No more. As the night stretched ahead of us, I made a silent vow. I would not be their puppet. I would not be a pawn in anyone's contract. I might be broken right now, bruised and battered and terrified of what came next. But for the first time, I was free. Truly, wildly free. And freedom, even when it's terrifying, tastes a hell of a lot better than chains dressed up as wedding vows.
Weeks passed, and the world didn't end like I feared. Instead, it cracked open, painfully, beautifully, into something new. I moved into a small studio apartment across town. No glittering chandeliers, no monogrammed towels. Just secondhand furniture, quiet nights, and peace that no amount of money could ever buy. David tried reaching out once, a long, rambling voicemail full of regret and half-hearted excuses. I deleted it without listening to the end. His mother, Margaret? She sent a letter. 4 pages, single-spaced, dripping with fake apologies and subtle threats. I burned it in my kitchen sink, watched the paper curl and blacken until it was nothing but ash. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I was lighter. I started laughing again. Real laughter. The kind that bubbles up from a place no contract can touch. And maybe I didn't have a wedding album. Maybe I didn't have a honeymoon in Paris. But I had something far rarer. I had myself, whole, unapologetic, free, and I was never going to trade that away again. Sometimes standing up for yourself means standing alone, at first. But with every step away from what breaks you, you walk closer to the life and the peace you truly deserve. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to leave a comment and share your own journey. You are stronger than you know. Thank you for listening.